Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing the May plan with me, and the theme for this month, as you can see, are lemons. I was going to do a houseplant theme, but I wasn't really feeling it, so I thought of lemons and the idea took off and I absolutely love it. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Grab your paints, grab your markers, whatever you're gonna use if you're gonna follow along, or coffee or tea if you're just gonna sit back and relax. And the the awesome thing about this plan with me is that I'm using my Archer and Olive B5 olive green notebook that was from a plant-based bride collaboration a while back, so these aren't available anymore, but I do have an Archer and Olive discount code in the description box below if you have been wanting to try out one of their bullet journals or one of their notebooks or their kilograph pens, any of that. So check the description for that discount code. So let's get on to the painting of the cover page. I have an 8x10 Strathmore watercolor paper taped down to this board that I have, my painting board. And so I already have a sketch outlined. You can kind of see it. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting the lemons wet. So all I'm doing is putting down some water where the lemons are at and letting the paper kind of soak up the water. So I'm putting down a few layers of water. I used a wet on wet technique to paint the lemons. I like wet on wet because it's easy to get really nice blends. You can put several colors down and they're just going to blend very, very nicely. So here I'm just going over the lemons a few times with water, and then I'm going to be using lemon yellow, yellow ochre, and those are the two main colors that I use for the lemons. And then I do add some violet purple to the mix just to kind of deepen the shadows a little bit. When I do the lemons, I made sure that I left some white spaces to kind of act as highlights. So if you're using markers or anything like that, you can still leave white spaces, or you can use a white jelly roll pen to act as the highlights. And you can add those after you're done with your lemons. And so right here, I'm just kind of dabbing to give the lemons just a little bit of texture. You don't have to do this, but I kind of liked how it looked as it was drying. And with watercolor, it dries lighter than what it looks wet. So I do go over the lemons several times with the same colors in the same places, again, leaving the white space for the highlights. So it is kind of a tedious process because I did step away from the painting and let it dry fully, but you can also use a hair dryer if you don't want to sit and wait for it to dry on its own. So here I'm doing the purple just for some of the shadows, and it just gives a little bit more depth rather than using kind of a more saturated yellow. It gives it more depth. So I'm going over the lemons again with the same lemon yellow and then the same yellow ochre on the shadows, and then just a bit more of the purple for the shadows. And next I'm going to be doing the leaves, and for the leaves I use a mix of, I think, sap green and maybe a few other dark greens. You can really mix up any greens that you have. I will have the greens that I used in the description box. My palette that I got from Amazon has several different greens and I don't have them memorized off the top of my head, so I will have those colors in the description box, but you can really do whatever colors you want. The leaves are just simple kind of oval pointed leaves, so I love that the leaves on the lemons are very, very simple. And I did forget a lemon, so here you get to see me do another lemon. So I'm going to go over the leaves a second time just to make them darker, add some lines, just to give them a little bit more depth. This is optional. You don't have to do any of this. You don't even have to do leaves. You can just do a whole page of lemons. I think that would be awesome too. And then after this, I do the stems, and I only do green for the stems here. And then on my other pages, I use a brown. So it's, you know, your painting, your bullet journal, you just do whatever you feel like you want. Up next, I'm going to be using a white. I have white, and it's a little bit of kind of the yellows that I already had on my palette mixed in, just a touch of those yellows. And these are the blossoms on the lemon tree, and the blossoms are white. So to do white paint and watercolor, you have to mix in another color with it. Usually a lot of artists use gray or Paynes gray, or mix in just a smidgen of black, and I mean just like a touch of black, just to give it a little darker tinge so you can actually see it off of the white page. But again, you don't have to do the flowers. I thought it just added a little bit more personality to the painting. And then down here at the very bottom, I'm doing just a kind of gradient of blue, just to give the painting a little bit more something something. So I just did a very light wash of a blue. I can't even remember what blue it was. Again, this is optional, but on the page, it looks really awesome. So now I'm just taking the washi tape off. Thankfully, the page didn't rip at all when I took the washi tape off. It was pretty sticky. So here is the final piece. I love it. And then I'm gonna cut it out, stick it in my bullet journal, and I use double-sided tape to tape it down. And this watercolor page was a little bit bigger than the notebook, so I did have to cut some down. And double-sided tape is my absolute favorite thing to use when I'm putting down a watercolor piece in my journal, because it holds so well. Okay, next is my content planner, my important dates, and my calendar page. This plan with me is gonna be a little bit shorter, and I'm not gonna have as many pages because I just haven't really been using my bullet journal as much as I usually do. So I'm cutting out a lot of the pages I have been doing in the previous months, like my cleaning schedule. I don't have that. My memories page, I don't have that. For March, I didn't even write anything down on my memories page. Same for April. The whole what I'm thankful for, I didn't even do that. So I decided to just kind of nix those because it was just taking up space, and it was just one more thing I had to try to remember to do. And that's not the point of a bullet journal. The whole point of a bullet journal is using it to keep yourself organized and to allow yourself kind of the freedom. And I didn't feel like I had that. So for the lemons on the bullet journal page, I'm not using watercolor paper here. It was a little bit harder, and I had to work faster to kind of get the colors to blend, but they did blend fairly well. I had to dip my brush in clean water and then dab it off on a paper towel several times to pick up some paint and then to blend as well. So keep that in mind if you're painting with watercolor in an Archer and Olive notebook. I don't suggest doing watercolor painting on any other notebook paper other than, you know, the really thick paper like Archer and Olive has. I think it's 160 GSM. That's very thick. It holds watercolor very well. I wouldn't do paintings on any other notebook that has less page than that, because it just will bleed through. But yeah, it was fairly easy to paint. There are some kind of blotchy spots, but that's to be expected with painting on paper that's not watercolor paper. So for my dates and my content planner, these boxes are just for me to write down the dates that I have that are important in the month that I can't forget, appointments, the church services, things like that. And then content planner is just the ideas that I have. Nope, just kidding. Not the ideas. That's the ideas page. Content planner are just the dates that I hope to get some reels and videos and stuff out. Just, yeah. And the calendar is 4 squares by 4 squares. So it's very simple. I left the edges open. I thought it looks pretty cool. So is my favorite page ever. It's my trackers page. And instead of doing another page of lemons, I wanted to do lemonade. So here I have a glass pitcher that I sketched out. I actually have a pitcher. It's not see-through glass, but it is more of like a vintage cream. I have a glass just like this at my house. So I used that to be my model so I could sketch out the pitcher. And I just did some wiggly lines for the lemonade, lemons inside, a lemon on the outside, and it's just super, super simple. So I did lemon yellow, a very light wash for the lemonade, and then I did a darker wash of lemon yellow for the lemons, and then I added a little bit of yellow ochre as well. Same with the whole lemon, lemon yellow, yellow ochre, blended it out as much as I could. And then for the glass jar, I used a light wash of blue. And then around the rims and the handle, I just did a darker wash, a thicker wash to kind of give it a little bit of shadow, give it a little bit of depth. And I do have little highlights marked out on the glass jar as well. So I left those white. And then I did a shadow underneath it, again, to give it more depth. The shadow's optional, but it really did help the glass jar and the lemon like pop off the page. So if you ever just have a second to do a shadow underneath your objects, do it because it's awesome. So it was super easy. It took me maybe 10 minutes to do this whole thing. It was super quick. So I sketched out the word trackers, and I don't ever do block letters because my block letters are absolutely terrible. So you're going to see me do some block letters and not be good at it. That's the one thing I can't do a lot, but block letters, no, I definitely try to stay away from that as much as possible. So I can have the Tombow dual brush pen that I used for the word trackers in the description box, and then I have my Micron fine liner in 01. I can have all the supplies linked in the description box as well. But yeah, more block letters, and just look at that M. That's so, and the A. It's terrible. And then I just used kind of a bright yellow to color it in. And again, a very simple quote: when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I thought it was fitting for the theme and for the picture. And also my trackers, it's 7 across and I think 6 down. So I did it just like the calendar. And here are my trackers: Bible, water, because I have to drink more water, journal, I'm going to try to work out, health, as in like healthy eating, and skincare. And then this is my mood tracker. So instead of doing colors, I'm just going to do lines. I'm going to do dots on however I feel. And then at the very end of the month, I'm going to connect all the dots, and it's just going to be like a squiggly line. And then I use the same yellow as the quote for drop shadows. And now we're moving right along to the brain dump page, or I think I said idea dump for this month. Again, the same concept for the lemons on the next page: lemon yellow, yellow ochre, leave a bit of highlight wherever you want on the lemon, and then just blend it out. And I did I think I did 2 coats of the lemon yellow and the yellow ochre. So I'm going to stop talking now and just let you guys watch the rest of this video. And just like that, we are finished with this plan with me. Again, lemons, I love them. It's my favorite. It was so easy. I would love to know if you guys enjoyed watching this video, if you guys like the lemons. I can probably have some digital things that are lemony to give you guys later on in the month. If you would be interested, comment below. Let me know if you guys want a free digital download of maybe my cover page, because I could totally do that. Okay, well, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!